What's up, y'all? It's your girl Kiara, and I am back with another video. And this video is a little bit overdue, but I'm gonna give it to y'all anyway. This is going to be a movie review about a movie that I wanted to watch. As soon as I saw the trailer, I loved the look of it. It looked very vintage. I love the colors. I love the actors and actresses. I wanted to be all in it. And as y'all can see by the title, the movie that I'm reviewing today is going to be Don't Worry Darling. And it came out this year. I can't remember what month, but I know it was 2022. And it has Florence Pugh, who only movie that I remember her being in is Midsummer, and Harry Styles, who is 1/4, well, used to be 1/4 of the group One Direction, which I love so much. So I saw Harry Styles, I was like, oh, let me see. And like the trailer, like it was very romantic and it was very intense and this and that. I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this. Please ignore my glare, the glare of my glasses, because I gotta ring my hair. But nonetheless, so before I get into this review, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share, all that, because I know y'all want to support your girl. And without further ado, let's get into this movie review. The movie starts out like what song? It was a song by Ray Charles. That's all I remember. It was a song by Ray Charles and I was singing it. I think it was Night and Day. By Ray Charles and his background singers. And it starts off with like 3 or 4 couples having a night out at one of the houses. Somebody hosted a get together, and the women are playing a game or how long they can keep the wine glass on their head, and whoever wins, I don't know what they win. But it was like all happy, everybody was drunk, having a good time. I guess everybody, they all live in the same neighborhood, so they come over and do that type of stuff. So they having fun, they doing all this and that, and then everybody leaves and it's just Harry Styles and Florence Pugh. And so they leave, they start getting it on, this and that, and they do, and then the morning comes and he gets ready for work. She cooks his dinner, she makes his nice dinner, she cooks his breakfast and makes his lunch for work. And for what I'm understanding, all the men in this town called Victory, California, and it like it's based in like the 50s. And all the men in this town go to work at the same Victory headquarters, and I guess they keep it very vague. They just say they work on advanced technology. That's what they say. They work on advanced technology, and that's really all they really say for that. They keep it real discreet. So all the wives, they do the same thing. They kiss their husbands. They kiss their husband before going to work, and they come back at night. No, same thing over and over again. And their boss name is Frank, played by Chris Pine, and Florence Pugh, I think her name was Alice. I think her name was Alice, and I think Jack is played by Harry Styles. Alice and Jack, they live next door to, I forgot her name, but she's played by Olivia Wilde, who was also the director of the movie, which was kind of cool too. So basically, she does the same thing every day. It's just like it gets old. It's like a routine every day. She do the same thing. Cook his breakfast, cook his lunch, kiss him goodbye. Boom. When he gets home, makes dinner, they do, and then they go home. I mean, they go to sleep, and then it repeats itself. So they end up all coming together to introduce a new person who's coming in with his wife. And one thing I really noticed is that nobody really has an explanation for why they're there. They're just there. And I would have thought like in the 50s, the guys were like working on, you know, bombs, you know, war stuff, fight for NASA and stuff, but that's not what that was. I'm gonna say that to the end. So, one of the women, her name is Margaret, and I don't know if this was a race thing, but she was the only black wife in the neighborhood. And like, she was the only one who was speaking up, like, y'all, like, this is all fake, y'all gotta get out of here, this and that. And they pulled her away. Her husband was trying to get her to calm down because she was sounding crazy. She wasn't. She was not sounding crazy. And so Florence wants, not Florence, her name is Florence. Alice went to go check on Margaret, and Margaret's husband was trying to get her to take her pills, and she was like, F out of my face with them pills. And so they just closed the curtains on her. No, she's just fine. She needs some rest. She'll be all right. Boom. Fast forward. Margaret, why do I keep saying Margaret? Alice, all the wives take a bus to town because they don't know how to drive. None of the women know how to drive, and that's another thing that plays a part in this too. Alice rides the bus uptown to go shopping and do whatever she do. But this time she don't stop. And the bus driver was like, oh, you ain't going shopping today? She's like, no, I'm just riding today. And she looked out the window and saw a red plane crash nearby where all the husbands go to work. And she's like, you saw that plane just crashed? I gotta get out, you gotta go down there. He was like, I don't go that far. She was like, well, forget it. She got off and walked herself. So she walked all the way to the headquarters, and she saw where all the men supposed to meet up. I just thought about it. Where they Kobe disappearing off to? Ooh, where they Kobe disappearing? That's something else. So she touches the glass of the outside building. I don't even think you can go in. I think she touched the glass and like she got shocked. Like a lot of memories start coming back that she remembers, but she don't remember, if that makes sense. So she wakes up back in bed with her husband Jack making dinner, and she was like, was I asleep when you got here? He was like, yeah, you was fast asleep when I got here, so I started making dinner for us. So she was all confused, like, I don't know what's going on, but let me go ahead and cook dinner for you. He was like, nah, get out of here, I'm cooking, move. So she goes back to bed, this and that. She wake up and get a phone call. It's Margaret, and Margaret was like, you saw it, didn't you? And Alice was like, I don't know what to talk about, Margaret, you know, something's wrong with you. And Margaret hung up the phone, like, you ain't believing me, all right, bet. So Alice goes outside, sees Margaret standing on top of her house and like yelling, like, Margaret, what are you doing? She turns around, Margaret, and falls off the roof. And these guys in red onesies like pop up out of nowhere to drag her off. And Alice was trying to go help Margaret, but the two other men in red onesies, they grab her up and like take her right out, like, you know, this ain't got nothing to do with you, like, no. So Alice goes to tell Jack what happens, and Jack was like, she took a fall. She bumped her, she fell doing a chore. Like, what? That's when I knew something was wrong. Like, don't nobody like want to tell what was really going on, because it'll mess up their reality. Bless you. Fast forward to, what night was that? Dang, what night? I forgot which night happened first, the dinner or the I think it was the dinner first. It was either the dinner or the no, Jack was up for a promotion, and they had like this big old extravaganza, this gathering, and out of nowhere, like, Alice, she went from wanting him to get a promotion to like, no, I don't want you to get a promotion, I don't want that. So she goes, he doing all this, I don't know what made him dance. It kind of made it made him out to be like he was a puppet for everybody's entertainment, which I kind of picked up on that as well. So Alice goes to the bathroom. She's like, I'm not feeling good, this and that. And what happens? Yeah, the promotion dinner came first, because I remember this, because she was telling her friend, dang, I forgot her name. It was like Bubbles or something like that. Olivia Wilde, basically. And she was telling Olivia, like, just come up here with me. I swear I'm not crazy. I promise you I'm not crazy. And Olivia Wilde was like, you sound just like Margaret. And I'm like, what you mean you sound just like Margaret? Cause I'm like, Margaret must have came to you and you weren't trying to listen to her. So now Alice is coming to you and you're like, I'm tired of hearing these. Anyway, so the night following, they had a get together over Jack's house to celebrate his promotion, and Alice just started asking around the room, like, all the women how they met their husbands, and all the stories are basically more or less the same in one way or another. And Frank, the head guy played by Chris Pine, before the dinner and everything, Chris Pine came up behind him and was like, nobody's gonna believe you. Like, nobody. So just be a good girl and make the food. And so at the dinner table, she calls Chris Pine out, and he was like, what you mean? Like, he wanted her to go into detail, like, tell me what's going on. Like, I believe in you. Maybe you done snapped out of your trance. Like, prove me wrong. So she really couldn't. She was just basically telling common sense stuff, like stuff that's just going on in their world. And he was like, dang, I thought you would have, put me out there. And she didn't. So Chris Pine's wife got mad and was like, how dare you call him out? He done did all this for y'all. Y'all living comfortable. How dare you come to him like that? So everybody leave. Chris Pine, Frank asked Jack to go with him so they can talk. Jack come back, and Alice, aka Florence, talks to Jack and was like, we could just leave. If you love me, you will come with me. Like, it don't matter where we are, as long as we're together. Like, let's just go. So Jack was like, okay, cool. Alice gets in the car and Jack's just in there. And she was like, Jack, let's go. Let's go, Jack. And out of nowhere, the guys with the red onesies pop out, drag her off into like this cuckoo house. Like, they doing shock therapy on her and doing all this stuff. Basically reprogramming her brain from everything that's going on. And in the time that they doing all that stuff, she gets a flashback of what her life used to be before this. She was a surgeon. Her and Jack were just barely making it by with her being a surgeon, but they just barely making it by. He's unemployed. All he do is watch podcasts all day, and she's the one going to work every day, making the money for the house. He tries to get intimate with her. She was like, no, get off of me. I'm tired. I don't want to do that right now. And he took that as her not liking her job because she's always tired. Mind you, you can love a job and you come home tired, but you love it regardless. It gets draining. Sorry, y'all. My eye, it's something always in my eye. So he took that as her not liking her job anymore. So he wanted to do something to make, basically so he can feel like he's contributing something to the relationship. Without her consent, mind you. She don't even know she's going through this. So long story short, Jack signs up for this simulation situation where you have to pay a monthly fee to enter this world where the men are the providers and the women just stay home, cook, clean, take care of the kids if they have kids. And now Alice comes back from her her trip, and now she's back and her memory is kind of fuzzy. And her friend, her next door neighbor, Olivia Wilde, was like, don't worry, it'll come back to you. So she goes back in the house and Jack is playing this song, and she was thinking, like, how do I know this song? It would be the song that Jack in the real world would hum to her to, calm her down or whatever. This is a spoiler review. I'm letting y'all know now, every movie review I do is a spoiler. I'm sorry, I'm gonna put it at the very, very, very beginning, but every movie review that I do is gonna be a spoiler, period. So long story short, they have been living in a simulation world that Jack, you know, discovered, and without her consent, like pulled Alice into, like he drugged her, put these little things over her eyes so it'll like get her brain to stimulate, you know. It's the whole thing. I can't explain it. So Alice finally realizes that, Jack, you got me here with, you know, against my will. I was a surgeon. You got me just in the bed all day. Like, and he finally broke down and was like, I did this for us. Don't you want this life? You said no matter where we at, as long as we're together, this and that. Alice is like, I didn't want this. I didn't want this. So he's all mad. He's all upset now. He feels guilty because he tried to gaslight her. Like, I did this for us. No, you did it for you. And you dragged me into it. So he was like, Alice, don't leave. Please don't leave. She was like, let me go. Let me go. He wouldn't let her go. So she took a bottle and bashed his head open. About one thing about this simulation, I don't know how this works, but if the women die in the simulation, they don't die in real life. But if the men die in the simulation, they die in real life. I think because they're the ones who voluntarily got in this, and so they're more invested than the women, because the women don't know. Some women do know, but most women don't know. So the next door neighbor runs over. It's like, what did you do? You gotta run, Alice. They're gonna find you. They're gonna kill her in real life, since she can't die. Like, if she can't die in the simulation and in real life, so the people in the, like the owners of the thing, they gonna find her in real life and kill her. So she runs. She goes back to Victory headquarters, but now all the men in the red onesies are following her. Like, they can't let her get out, because if she gets out, she's gonna tell everybody what's going on and it's gonna ruin everything. So like, it was one review I heard, they said it was like a cartoon chase where it was her, 2 cars behind her, and it was a car coming the opposite direction. So she basically played chicken with the car. So she smashed on her brakes and the 2 cars behind her kept it pushing, and the car this way, they clashed. So you just watched this big explosion. She goes up the hill, the car breaks down, so she ended up just running the rest of the way. And she gets to the door, she touches it, and it fades to white, and that's the credits. That's the movie. Long story short, it was all a simulation. It was all a simulation. That's why she kept like thinking like, this ain't right. Like, she felt like there was a glitch in the Matrix. Like a glitch in her world. Like, she was gonna make eggs and there was no yolk in the eggs. Or when she was washing the windows of the newspaper, like the walls were caving in on her and stuff like that. And every now and then she'll get flashes of these random women, like with scary makeup on and stuff like that. So it was a whole thing. I had to watch it multiple times because when I was watching it, I was doing something else. My brain is weird like that. I can't really focus on one thing at a time. I can't do it. So that was it. That was Don't Worry Darling. Basically, it was a mind freak, and I mean, I liked it, but you know, it confused me. I hate how there was no satisfying ending. All there was her touching the window, and then it fades to white, and that's the end of the movie. Like, what happens? Does she escape the simulation? Does she do they find her and offer when they catch up with her? Like, what do they do? Like, but anyway, that was the review of Don't Worry Darling. I hope I did all right. I hope I didn't jump all over the place like I usually do. Probably did. Anyway, if y'all enjoyed it, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share, all that, because I know y'all want to support your girl. And like I always say, I will see y'all in the next